Hello everyone, I'm Chester44, also known as Fly, and welcome to this Let's Play of Pillars of Eternity 2, Deadfire. Last episode, we, decided to take a walk into the Water Shapers Guild, and as we did, we found this new companion to Kehu, a druid who is, kind of full of himself, being a water godlike, which is not really seen anywhere, and effectively seen as an omen of good. So, yeah, that's a thing. Anyway, we're taking a look in the ruins underneath, and let's see what this guy here has to say. I'm curious.
What say, friend? The guild sanctum has seen better days.
The young water shaper leans on his broom and smiles at you. What do you do here?
Simply a caretaker. I dust off Pariki's tomb and try to keep the place tidy. Caring for the guild hall usually means drying off what others get wet in practice.
Ikanu shakes his head with a weary smile. What's behind the stone door by the staircase?
A sanctum for master water shapers, I say. No students or outsiders allowed. I have never been there myself. Myru assures me the room has no need of cleaning.
The inscription by Pariki's tomb has been defaced.
Water damage, I thought.
Ikanu scratches the back of his head.
I say it's been that way since I got here, but I cannot recall if the former steward ever mentioned it.
Are you a water shaper?
Akira. One of middling skill, if I'm generous. Not all of us can boast of Takehu's talent. But Nagati touches us differently, I say. The guild didn't used to allow outsiders the freedom of our halls. Akira. But how times change.
Alright, well, let's take a look down these other paths, see if we can find anything interesting or useful. Can't go into here. That's actually very nice. He can actually walk through the water without getting stuck. Or slowed. The tunnel descends sharply into the murky waters. There's no telling just how far into the mountain it goes. Well, we'll keep going around. Go up into here. Okay, a few things there. At least we can loot these things. And that looks like about it. Okay, there is less here than I expected. So I think we can get out of here. And we can't go into the halls. Alright, well, there's nothing else to look at up here. Or in here. I think we can move on to try and do the looting that I intended to do. And for that, we need to get into the bathhouse.
Such devotion, friend Shodi.
Oh.
What do you mean, why? Like there's an alternative?
The Huana gods are a jungle of choices, I say. If the fish displeases you, look to the bird.
Huh. So he's actually questioning Jyoti, why gone? Okay. That's something that I suppose those who are religious can ask. Why devote your life to this one and not the other one? It can be a legitimate question.
My friend, you return.
Okay, you don't have anything to say. What about the steward?
Please, enjoy the baths.
Okay, maybe not. Said someone in the basement. Ah, the boiler room. Here we are. Let's see. Beads of moisture run down the heat and copper, leaving the perfume of refined Audra in their wake. This is probably the way through. Alright. I'm gonna drop down a save before we try going through here. Alright, let's see here. This crack in the wall is perhaps just wide enough to accommodate an Amawa squeezing in sideways. The passage seems to wind the deeper it goes. Squeeze through the crack. And we should be able to get in. Alright. Found our way in. Now, one thing we know. These guys are idiots. So if I put on a cloak, I should be able to get through. This wall looks recently repaired. Many of the stones are new and were cut to fit into the older structure around it. It would take an appropriate tool or considerable brawn to overcome the steadfast obstacle. Examine the wall. The wall appears fairly solid and upright, though some patient work with a hammer and chisel could make short work of it. You notice fine metal wires nestled among the stones in a web-like network. Following them leads to an elaborate alarm system which would be triggered by removing the stones. We're going to want to disable that. I am the best option. After disconnecting the wires from the alarm with care, the stones are now safer to move. Have someone push through the wall? I'll give it a try. The mortar gives at the last instant, collapsing a section of wall large enough for a group to pass through single file. Okay. That worked well. Now, let's start looking through this place. I'm just gonna look through the halls first. The construct is silent as it moves to attack. Oh! Okay, so that kind of sneaking wouldn't have worked. That is a lot of defense.
You like that?
This is not gonna work at all. What? This is a high difficulty. I'm sorry. You know what? We can't do this. Never mind, I didn't realize it was 3 skull difficulty. Please hold. I swear I did not realize it was that difficult. That seems like a bad idea, so I'm gonna hold on to the robe for reasons of sneaking later, but yeah. We're not gonna be doing that. So, let's get out of here, and instead... You know what? Instead of going to the new area, which is the last area we have, I'm instead going to head back to the starting area so we can try and do some more handling of that quest that I forgot that we could handle.
Hot razor skewers, crusted swordfish.
Since we do kind of need to talk to what are their names? What are their names again? Where are they? Yes, the Valera family and the Bardatos and Valeras. So, let's go back to the Bardato house. Yep, the Bardato estate in Queensbirth. Oh, a group of Principe sailors approach you in the streets. That's unexpected. Hello.
Tella, a moment.
A tall, wiry man blocks your path. He wears a sly smile as one might wear their most comfortable trousers.
I saw you speak to my dear amico Degnos, so I thought to myself, why, Talfor, you must meet her too.
What is it of yours who I talk... What business is it of yours who I talk to?
Degnos is an associate of mine. His success is important to me, as it impacts my own.
His shrug is insouciance personified, slight and carefree. Your errand boy lost his satchel. I'm returning it to him.
That is good to hear. So rare it is that I am glad of a stranger's interference.
Talfor renders you a slight bow and a crooked, almost jesting smile.
Would you like an escort to Queensbereth, Tella? You never know what rough types may be about. I would hate to see you waylaid.
Am I not already waylaid?
Were I a more fragile man, I might have found offense in your vulgar accusations.
His smile is sharp, drawn in irony. It promises violence. He winks. That won't be necessary.
Ah, Aimika, the streets of Nekitaka, they are too dangerous to travel without an escort. I insist my associates and I see you safely to your destination. It pains me to impose, but I must ensure Degnos has everything he needs for his next voyage.
He smiles wide, the corners of his eyes crinkling with mirth. I'll be on my way then. If you wish to follow, that's your business.
A gracious offer. We accept.
He nods to his fellows who smile and murmur agreement.
Perguano, let us be off.
Okay then, this is a little concerning. That guy who lost his satchel. This is concerning for him. So, I believe he was...
You say your lamp nets you souls, I? Mind if I be asking how?
Faith can do many a thing, Seraphim. Add a little copper and Audra, and a normal lantern can work miracles.
Aye, don't those be the tools of the animancers, art?
Maybe. But I'm no animancer, that's for sure. I ain't out to play God. Only serve mine.
We should probably finish helping out this guy first. I think he was going to be in the alley. Yellow, Cybele. Or maybe he wasn't. Where was he going to be? Peddler's Canal. Ah! He's gonna be down here. My mistake. As I said, I'm a little concerned about whoever it was who was doing that. Alright. So, he should be down here somewhere. Found him.
Eccosi, Tella. You have found the satchel?
Indeed.
Diverus. Perfetto. This is magnificent.
A smile breaks across Degnos' face.
I am in your debt, Aimika. Truly.
He takes your hands in a tight, sweaty grip.
Please, take this. You do not know what you have done for me.
He hands you a few coppers, a sheepish grin stretched across his face.
I will reward you properly someday. You will see.
Our business is resolved, and my business is my own. Be on your way. I have no time for you.
Why do I have a feeling there's going to be some sort of
I must help
thing
Lotta with her
happening after
inventory.
that? Alright. Now then, with that handled, let's go to the Bardatos. And report in on the information we learned several episodes ago that I completely forgot to tell them about. We need to go over this way. Izali. Hello, we need to speak.
My intelligence speaks of agitated whispers in the Valera household.
Izali sets aside her paperwork and glances your way. Well, I'd like to talk about the Valera plot.
Have on, then, and don't leave me in suspense.
She leans in closer, her eyes boring into yours. I found this floor plan of the Bardato estate. It looks like the thieves were mapping a route into your vault.
Treachery from within. This is exactly what I needed. Now we know enough to sidestep this particular trap. Here, your deserving pay.
Bardato Hall. She sets a bag of coins upon the deck.
I suggest we allow this heist to play out as intended. We will watch as our enemies walk into a trap. This will be the end of the Valera's short, ignoble reign in high society.
Why not just talk to Otello? It's not too late to solve this peacefully.
It most decidedly is. I have no use for a faint heart. Find me when you come to your senses.
Is that so? I will go speak with them and see if they have anything to say. First things first, though. Since we have a new hull... Our normal hull is a Carvel hull. We can have the Bardato hull for extra hull health and travel speed. That's actually definitely useful. Thank you. I'm guessing the Valeras aren't really going to have much to say here. If we can even talk to them. Otherwise, I guess we're just going to have to do what defense we can. I think the Valeras were upstairs. Yeah, they were in this room, I believe.
Am I supposed to play nanny?
They listen. Ado, I hear you witnessed an unfortunate exchange behind the Adra Mill.
Otello aims a troubled look at Martino.
You kept Lara and Orso from the beyond. We could use such a mediator. Martino has need of muscle and brains outside of the Valera house.
Artello frowns toward his son. Tell me about the job.
Let me take point on this one, father.
Martino pats Otello on the back and turns to you with a more severe, businesslike expression.
Some Royal Deadfire crews have lately taken to pirate hunting. One such crew has been boasting of their victories near the Wild Mare, singing their Rauatai songs and making our clients anxious. Hunting Principe dogs is our business. With all these problems with the Bardatos, now is not the time for competition from the Brass Citadel. It would be better if they took their business elsewhere.
When Otello isn't looking, Martino draws his thumb across his throat.
You could always start shooting the shit out of one another and leave good Deadfire folk be. Just a suggestion.
I'll talk to these sailors for you. I'll do it, but I want the Valiant Trading Company to know that I was helpful.
Was that not implied? Akosi, consider it done. Come back when the Rauatai dogs have been dispatched, dismissed, or dismembered.
Martino makes a pistol-firing gesture with his fingers and winks. Yeah, alright, seems a simple enough thing. So that seems to be what's going on here. Fine, I guess we'll be doing something for them. The Wild Mare, I believe, is just to the south. Should be a relatively simple task, I think. Come on, come on. Head over this way. Akema. I don't think I remember speaking to you.
Well met, stranger. Akira, but isn't this district a fine place?
The Juana woman stares off into the distance with a longing expression. Turn to see what she's looking at. She doesn't settle on any point of particular interest. Everything from the high buildings to the cobblestones is a subject of fascination. She notices your attention and turns her eyes to the ground.
I am not one meant to venture far from the gullet. Until recently, I had a respectable job at the Luminous Bathhouse.
Akira, a most respectable establishment, I say.
Now that I am unemployed, I seek to make myself useful before the money runs out, and I must return to the Roparu as a pauper.
She frowns and turns her gaze back up to you. You worked at the Luminous Bathhouse.
A wonderful place. Would that I could cross its threshold again and feel the mist of luminous waters. In spite of my time there, I cannot do else but give it my highest recommendation. You will find the Luminous Bathhouse in Periki's Overlook.
Well, tell me about Queen's birth.
The Queen granted this area of the city to the Valian outsiders. Here they organize their business and trade. digging up the archipelago with both hands and carrying riches overseas.
She glances toward the docks.
In her welcoming embrace, the Queen allowed a similar concession to the Royal Deadfire Company. You would do well to see as much of Neketaka while you are here, I am thinking.
And how did you lose your job at the bathhouse?
More happens at the bathhouse than cleanliness and ease. It is a place of meetings, business, and transactions, to all of which the attendants are either blind or deaf. One day, I overheard more than I ought to have. In my airing, I gasped. To my great shame, I showed a most unprofessional reaction before clients. I was fired. And rightly so.
I see. And what did you overhear in the bathhouse to cause such a scandal? Akima shakes her head and lowers it in deepest shame. She's trembling, and it's clear that, in her estimate, she has suffered enough without debasing herself even further. Could you direct me to the Kahanga Palace?
Akira, you want to follow the road north, up the mountain, always climbing. It is the highest point in the city.
Alright, farewell and thank you. Do take care. Now let's see. Said it's some loud people outside the Wild Mare. Let's see what we can find.
Whose guts twist her around like her rusty corkscrew? Oh, the sailor who can't hold down Queeky Stew.
Found him. Hey boys, we need you to leave.
Defiance Bay, am I right?
The sizable Amawa smiles and claps you on the shoulder hard. Of course, how could I forget? He gives you a look that is skeptical if amused.
I was but a face in the crowd, but I remember the one who walked out of Hadron House alive.
He claps you on the shoulder again, harder, and this time you recognize inebriation behind his enthusiasm.
So, what brings you here, friend?
What are you doing?
Captain gave us extra coin to occupy ourselves while we're on leave. We've been draining Valian wine cellars and trying to remember the words of Rawatai anthems. Loudly, as often as not.
He turns to his compatriots with unrestrained glee. I'm afraid Martino Valera wants you out of Queen's Berth.
Valera, one of the stuck-up pirate hunters. We move for no one, friend.
Oh, there's a musician playing his lute by the bridge, best songs in the district. At first, the sailor looks like he's going to fire back with harsh language, but his expression softens.
Wonder if he plays any Rawatai songs. Come on, boys. Let's get out of here.
He gestures with a jerk of his head. See? We can do that nice and easy without having to kill anyone. Perfectly fine. Alright, let's go inform the Valeras of what we managed to do. Just for them. Nice and easy. Head into the Valera estate. Come on, there we go, and we head upstairs. Which is nice and easy, and now we can go and inform them.
I no longer hear the perverted anthems of Rawatai echoing across Queen's Berth.
The Royal Deadfire Company sailors are gone.
And Zili has a new audience. Clever.
He unceremoniously tosses you a sack of coins, his interest already elsewhere.
Stick with me and you'll be on the winning side when the dust settles.
He favors you with a grin. You're not helping the Republics by pecking at allies.
Merla, you and my father are too alike. Go on. I'm still waiting on word for the next job. You have a few days to decide where your loyalties lie.
Valera Sales, eh? Interesting. Family pride. There it is. Martino has no further work for the time being, though he suggested I check back in a few days. I should probably still speak with them. That said, better sales? Oh yeah, definitely better sales. I'll take those. Thank you.
Adu, what brings you to the Hall of the Valeras?
So you're having some kind of trouble with the family next door.
Ach, the Bardato Bank shuts us out of investments and stifles our finances. This is the richest prospect on Iora, but we cannot grow our family business.
Can't make coin at the expense of others? Now that's a crying shame.
Eyes narrow, the priestess crosses her arms over her chest.
If you know a better way of squeezing profit out of these islands, I'm open to hearing it. Azali is a rich thug, and someday she will get what's coming to her.
I want to talk to you about the Bardatos.
If we must. What is it?
I think your families should consider a truce.
Shoddery. Our disagreements are beyond the point of shaking hands. This is not your feud. If anything, I question your interest.
You're a businessman. You would know if my investment was false.
You have little to gain by peace between our families, but you speak as if you might. You want to help? Convince Azali to negotiate. She ignores my invitations. Until then, leave me be.
So we need to convince her to investigate. He said he'd be willing to, so let's go over to Azali and see if we can. I don't know if she would be willing, especially after the news that they're trying to rob her vault, but we'll see what happens. Can at least try. Hopefully the news about the vault robbing isn't what's going to basically screw this attempt over. Let's speak to her right now.
Speak up. My business never sits still for long.
About this feud with the Valeras.
Fratello doesn't make my affairs any easier with his wayward ambitions.
I spoke to Otello Valera. He's ready to negotiate if you're willing to meet at his estate.
His brood threatens open bloodshed in the streets, and he thinks... delusional little snake. Fine. But you can assure him that I won't be alone. Go on then. Let him know. Before I change my mind.
Okay. So despite that, she's willing. Good. Let's go back and see if we can get a nice, peaceful result. If so, that would be fantastic.
Takehu, you ever use your abilities to play jokes on anyone?
Ikera, I once sold a water globe to a Mataru priest. It was filled with live fish.
Oh, that's pretty.
Doesn't sound like much of a joke.
The trick was letting the sculpture break down while he slept with it over his head.
Oh, I'm getting so many ideas right now. How would you feel about betraying the Watcher's trust?
Adair, I can hear you. Alright, let's go up and see if we can get this whole feud settled. Hopefully so. Plus, I mean, we have gotten rewards from both of them. Okay then, Artello.
Adu, what brings you to the Hall of the Valeras?
Azali has agreed to meet and discuss terms of peace.
You really managed to convince that stubborn Pugra to show up. I'll make sure the estate is prepared to receive her, then.
Let's begin the negotiations.
I will send a messenger to fetch Azali. Whether she is still receptive to the idea of a truce is ultimately up to her.
Indeed. Let's see what happens here.
Looking prettier than when you left or so.
Merla, cut it out.
Bardato and the Valera representatives stand arrayed around the dining table wearing expressions of anxiety and resentment. The temperature of the room suggests no more amity than when the discussion began. If we could open by defining each of your grievances and demands. Before you can finish your sentence, Otello cuts you off with a hard wave of his hand.
You run your bank like a crime syndicate. Some of us struggled to tell the difference.
Otello points an accusing finger across the table.
We can take it up with the director anytime you feel like explaining why your children are intimidating my merchants.
Azali opens her palms in every way composed. She glances over at you and her mouth turns downward.
I see our would-be mediator has arrived. Well, we're here. I hope this wasn't some elaborate, ill-advised jest.
I would not willingly welcome a Bardato beneath my roof for the sake of a jest.
Please, let's try not to sabotage this from the outset.
As long as the Valera remembers his place, we shouldn't have any problems.
My place is in the dueling ring. Care to let the gods decide, Lady Bardato?
Martino licks his lips and fingers the pommel of his rapier.
Quiet, Martino. Watcher, now would be the time to lay out your reasoning.
Let's see. I've made allies of former enemies before. I think we can all pull together into a stronger force.
Ak, raise the stir in the White March Mountains. The same could be done here.
A force? Watcher? To what end?
Let's see. Death to the Principe, Lotta. No. The only end there is profit, the expansion of trade and progress in the region. I want to help the Whatcha of the city. I'd like the company to be an earnest ally. I feel like the thing that would actually help them, that would actually get on their side, is they would both want profit. The only end there is profit.
I see you've spent too much time in the Bardato's company.
Otello, you let your children lash out at the Bardatos. What's your goal?
My goal? To wring out a little respect from this feud before we go under. The company will bleed us dry. We give our lives, our loved ones' lives, and they don't lift a finger to help us. The Bardatos turn their backs. Why shouldn't I teach my children to walk with their heads high?
Izali frowns, looking at him skeptically. Let's see. Izali, why shut the Valera family out of trade?
One does not arm the competition. Besides, lesser people have made more of themselves without the aid of banks.
Izali stops herself, seeming for a moment to doubt her own convictions. Let's see. And the pirates?
Vagabonds. The only thing I'll say for Otello is that he is a son of the Republics. I'll treat him like any enemy of note.
I'm amazed you can say this with a straight face, Izali.
Let's see. You were a gold pack knight once, weren't you, Izali?
Once you owned a castle. Things change.
Don't you know a chance at profit when you see it?
Yes. Yes, I do.
You make a living putting the right people to work in the right places. What suits the Valera family? She hesitates, her mouth tightening to a thin line.
They are passable sailors.
She waves her hand in a dismissive fashion. And if they're out at sea, they can't bother you. Izali's expression brightens. She turns to Otello, her hostility replaced with interest.
I want the Principe out of the trade lanes.
What?
Half of this month's shipments are missing. I'll give you coin and crew for 5 ships to earn back my investment.
She opens her palms and awaits his response.
6 ships. With 6 I will drive the Principe from these waters like rats from a fire.
Otello straightens his spine and nods with confidence.
Even money says the Principe already be shaking in their timbers at the raw thought of your 6 fish-staking ships.
Seraphin? Shut it.
You think yourself the first to underestimate us, little one?
6 ships. I believe we just made a deal, Valera.
Then it's settled?
Otello sounds bewildered by his own words.
So it seems. For the time being. Time will tell if this arrangement is a favorable one. My hosts, you'll excuse me if I return home.
She inclines her head, favoring you with a bemused look on her way out. Well, that went fairly well, I think. Orso Valera?
Never saw myself breaking bread with a Bardato.
I wonder if they have anything else to say. Ooh. Oh, I may have already looted that. No matter. I'm just curious if he has anything else to say now that we've negotiated this truce. After all, we've done some nice things for them. Ah, there's Otello and Martino. Anything to say, Otello?
Good night, Watcher. We can speak.
It is nighttime. Okay then, in that case, I think I can end this episode here. So, next episode, I think first we're gonna just go rest in the inn. And then next episode, we are going to head up to the palace. It's finally time we deal with what's going on up there. Things have gone on long enough elsewise. That'll be in the next episode.
Through all my good clothes lately. Just realized why.
Why? It wouldn't happen to be on account of my lantern, would it?
I know you think it's funny, but the moths are so big here.
It's a divine light, meant to cut through the darkness. Of course it's gonna draw the biggest ones.
Well, some of my pants wouldn't be polite to wear them in public anymore.
Oh, pity. Alright, well, as I said, I'm going to take a rest here and end the episode. Next episode, we're gonna head up to the palace and see what's going on up there. Till then, I am Chester44, also known as Fly.
Hey, Fish Boy, what'd I tell you last time? You're not allowed in here.
Kara, have we met?
Oh, have you forgotten our little altercation so soon? How convenient for you. Last you were here, you got drunk as a hagfish in a barrel of mead.
Why does that not surprise me?
Kara, at least one of us is amused.
Then, when I refused to serve you any longer, you stole a bottle of my finest wine from behind the bar.
Kara, how could I let you poison your clients? Ngati is not deigned to bless a drop of what passes through here.
You drank it all, then clambered onto the stage, pushed the dancer off, and serenaded the crowd with a sloppy rendition of my Wahaki.
Clamber? These legs do not clamber. Apologize.
You'll have to teach me that one later, Takehu.
Then, when I shoved you out the door and told you not to come back, you tried to kiss me.
Though he looks as if he's about to protest, Takehu thinks twice and holds his silence.
Frankly, I'm surprised someone hasn't killed you yet.
This one's on you, Takehu.
Kara, punish me appropriately if I misbehave.
I'll hold you to that, you slippery bastard.
Okay, as I was saying, we're going to rest, +1 to all skills. That's perfectly fine. Next episode, we head back up to the palace and actually continue things here. That'll be in the next episode. So until then, I am Chester44, also known as Fly. That is Laniara, Adair, Jolty, Seraphin, and Takehu. This has been a Let's Play of Pillars of Eternity 2, Deadfire.
Makara,
oh.
Do not hold back, my friend.
You sure? Sometimes I ask things to get people riled up without meaning to.
Well, if it riles me up, then I say you have my undivided attention.
All right. Is there any kind of ocean critter I shouldn't be eating in front of you?
And I shall see you all next time.